So here we are at the second dam. So it's a Saturday afternoon. Landholder's been busy pulling the fence down around here just to give us a bit more room. We've got another windy day at the moment, so apologies for that, but we'll push on. Landholder's pumped a bit over a metre of water out of this dam. They're just having a bit of trouble with the foot valve there now. So I'm just going to punch a little ramp in this corner, dig a bit of a sump there, so that we can get the last of that water out. And hopefully I'll be able to get it pumped out the Sarby while I muck around here and get prepped up. And I should be able to have a good day tomorrow. So the plan will be to just roll the top of that bank over. So I've got a bit of a ramp there, and I'll pull the wetter material out and throw it over the back. And then we've got a good bit of room over in that corner to stack any dry material. So I'm hoping to get another 3,000 cubes out of this hole, which is so it should be about 3 days working it, depending on how wet that is and how much silt's actually in it. But yeah, a little contract for a hungover Saturday after being at a wedding till 2 AM. Good job. So we've been going for just a little bit over 3 hours. I cut this ramp in here, dug a tiny little sump there, just on the other side of the pump, and used the material that come out of the hole to push all that mud back towards where them white drums are, which then made the water push that way. And then I opened it up on this edge, so it started flowing in, and I set the pump up, started pumping, and then I went over that far side and pushed in that little ramp there, the one on the left, which pushed that water further around the dam. And then once the pump was going and I had a bit of time up my sleeve, I went over that other side and tidied up that pile so that I could back up, because there was a square edge there and I couldn't back up to start my cut. So I spent half an hour or so over there, half an hour on that side, and then the water was starting to drop in my hole here, so I went and cut those other 3 slots to push some more water. And I've just come over here to move the pump, because that water's coming in a bit quicker now, and the pump was a little bit low. So when I'm working over that side, just so I can tell, you can see it just near that, on the other side of that pile where that tower is, there's a stream of water, there's a hole in that hose. So when I'm over the other side, I can tell the pump's going. I've also leveled out this little pile up here. It's come along pretty well. There's not a great deal of silt in this dam, which makes it all a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm hoping to have that water out today. We'll see how I go. See how the lights are on this machine. I might even do a couple of hours tonight just to keep it going, because I've only really got tomorrow. I go back to work Monday, so the more of this I get done before I go back to work Monday, the better off I'll be. Going to start cutting this side in now while I keep an eye on the water, and then I'll hump the drier dirt's going to go over into that corner. You can see I've put 1 bucket over there already, and I'll also put a bit of a bank on this left hand side so that any of the wet slop I can take it right up and over that pile and throw it out the back. So it's come along pretty good actually. It's going to turn into a nice little hole. So this is what it looks like just on dark. Landholder's just slipping up to the house in my ute to bring me back a tank of fuel, because I'm going to keep cracking here and see how many hours I can get done in the dark tonight. At least then I'll be ready to go to work Monday anyway. So that's where we got to. Water's just about all pumped out. I'm just opening this whole side up here so I can get stuck into that wet stuff. Yeah, this will probably be the last video for today, but hopefully it'll look a little bit better in the daylight tomorrow. So this is where I got to last night. I only worked till about 9 o'clock. Starting to get a bit motion sick, just with the rocking and rolling, with the no no horizon, so pulled up about 9. So I got that whole side out and started getting stuck into that wet mud. I pulled the pump out yesterday. It just kept clogging up with grass and other rubbish that's in the last of that water. So I'll just deal with that stuff when I get in there. We'll see how we go today. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get the majority of that wet stuff out today, so we'll see how we go. It's all set up over that other side, going pretty good. 2 big piles of dry on each end that's come off of that bank, and starting to stack the wet stuff right through the middle there. Just fueling up here at the moment. Landholder bought me a tank of juice down last night. Filled my ute up for me, which was good. And yeah, we'll see how we go today. This is where I got to on the last day I was out here, which was Sunday. So got all that majority of that slop out of the middle. Got the last of the water out of the sump just in front of where I'm standing here. Right up against this end where the pump is. Somebody's been in there with an excavator before and they've dug a slot out there that's a bit deeper. So I'll just work on getting the rest of that wet mud out of there this afternoon. And see how far we push through this evening. So all that mud's gone over behind that pile of dirt that I levelled off when I first started here. So I'll walk over there now and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like over here. So all that real wet stuff's been thrown over the back. The dry material's piled on these ends. So that material will stay there. That wet stuff been pushed out. I won't actually go over the top of it like I did with the last one. I've left a gap through the middle where I can stack that material. So I've got enough room there to stack a couple 1,000 cubes there if we need it. Expecting the landholder to want to go a fair bit bigger with this hole. So he's going to come down the Sarvey and we'll have a look and work out how much more time we'll spend in it. So it's looking good. You can see on these edges I've bought them slots in, but I haven't taken all that material out. So I bring it in as I need it and use it to control that real wet slop in the middle. So I've got a single point where I can punch into it and let it flow through and fill the bucket. Just makes it a bit easier when you don't have it going everywhere. So we'll see how we go today. So this is what it looked at the moment. I got to 20 hours and I had all this side shaped down to the hole and a fair pile of dirt in the base there, and knocked off that night at 8 o'clock, and didn't come out the following day because I was busy at my actual job. And then I got out yesterday afternoon. We'd had 14 mil on site, so as you can see, quite a bit of water run around here just off the banks. So I got a fair bit of water sitting on that floor. So I got out here yesterday and I just worked from that side there. I cut that slot just to shorten my run to the pile, and I hauled the majority of that material out. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rest of that pile out, and then I'm going to cut a slot right along this side of the dam that's a bit lower, maybe go down 1/2 metre or so, haul that all out, and then I'll let that water into that hole and that'll allow me to clean that floor up, shape that side there up, which has still got probably 300 cubes to come out of it, and then I'll shave that floor, make the whole thing fall back to the hole on this side, so that we've got the low spot over here where the landholder sets his pump up, because this is his main dam. So it looks a little bit wild at the moment. That's what happens when you get a bit of rain and you're working on a wheeled machine, but we're going to tidy it up today and finish it off. So we're aiming for 8 more hours to finish this job is the goal. So hopefully I'll knock that over today and then start the next one tomorrow, if everything goes according to plan. So this is progress. We've been 3.5 hours or so I just pulled 80 buckets out of that, where that slot is there, cleaned up that edge and then opened the water up. So I just got it draining. Just gonna go grab a sandwich and I'll chase the rest of that water out once I'm done. Once all the water's out of this side, I'll push that bit of dirt over to that side over there and we'll start finishing that end off. Got me offsiders here today. Been running around their underwear in the water. We've only had tears once when somebody got hit in the face with a clod of dirt. So we're probably doing not too bad. So this is the finished product. About 9:30 this morning, finished it off. So a total of 664 buckets we've taken out of this hole. 39 hours. A little bit of dirt been put around those tanks over there where the cattle had walked it out from underneath them. No dirt put out this side. This is just the original pile, just been rolled over where I'm standing here. Real long slope and batter all the way around that side, which will be good long term. A bit steeper on this side, which will get the landholder's pump a bit closer to the dam. But that's just matching up to what was there anyway. The sump I dug yesterday, so there's actually about 170 cubes in that hole, just going off the buckets that I took out of there, and I drained that water across and then pushed the remainder into it cleanly. When I dug the slot, I cleaned up to just to the left hand side of where the loader's sitting before I let the water back there. So I ended up with only a minuscule little rill on the right hand side of that water, so that's all clean and hard and nice. I have cleaned up that pile over near the trees there, just the last little bit just now. And all the dirt is all stacked. Got that one little pile there by itself, but all the rest of it's stacked in that one big long pile, which I'll walk over to now and get a quick video. So just over here, look at the pile. That's what it looks like here. This is a contour that feeds water from the road easement into the dam. So I just made sure it stayed just out off the edge of that. Everything has been ripped up to the edge of that waterway, and all of this material's just been dumped just outside of it. So we kept just enough room here to stack all this material. So there's about 3,000 cubes there by my calculations. So as with the other one, I made a little bank there and I tipped all that wet mud over the back. The difference with this one is, one, there was more of that wet material, and two, I didn't bridge over the top of it with the pile. So the other one I was limited by the cutterbard country and I didn't really have any room, so I had to go over that slop, which you saw what that looked like at the finish of the last one. But this one here, the wet stuff went to the back, and then we just moved the pile forward back towards the dam. I'll jump up on top, show you what it looks like from up there. This is what it looks like from up on top. So it's a bit wider on this end and it narrows up going that way, mainly because that was further haul, and also that original pile that was there was bigger at that point. So I brought most of the material to this end just made it a bit closer. Haul to the dam, because the majority of the material was sort of pulled out from just in front of the loader. Whilst I was leveling that floor where the loader's sitting, I pushed all that floor material to just in front of the loader and then pulled it out this way. So it's come up pretty good, nice straight edge there. Well, not straight, but even. And this original bank that runs right along here, I'll get a quick picture from down below. So as you can see there, it slopes into the pile. So one of my pet hates is watching this material bleed back into the dam that you just cleaned out. So that's why I brought it so far out past this bank, so that we've got a, because this pile will settle and end up a lot lower than it is now, and that gives it a bit of room to drop sediment there rather than going back into your dam you just cleaned out. So overall, pretty happy with it. Took 10 hours longer than the last one. It is a bigger dam by about 20 metres on one side. It's probably not quite as deep as the other one, but we've moved the same amount of material out of it. Just took about 10 hours longer, mostly because we went one way with all the material over here, whereas the other one I was sort of dumping on three sides, which shortened the run up. So anyway, we're all done and moving on to start the next one.